Cats are animals with independent behavior, but still form strong bonds with humans. They tend to sleep a lot, averaging 12 to 16 hours a day to conserve energy for their natural hunting instincts. Cats are very clean and frequently groom themselves by licking their fur to maintain hygiene and regulate body temperature. They are also highly territorial, often marking their space using scent glands on their bodies. Cats are very sensitive to sounds and movement, which helps them react quickly to danger or prey. When they feel safe, they may show affection by rubbing their heads, meowing, or lying close to their owners. In addition, cats enjoy playing, especially with small moving objects like balls or strings, as it stimulates their hunting instincts. However, each cat has its own personality. Some are friendly and affectionate, while others prefer solitude and minimal interaction. Many people go into the idea of owning a cat with a very specific expectation. A pet should be friendly, affectionate, and responsive when called. But cats don't operate that way. They don't rush to bond, they don't actively seek to show attachment, and they certainly don't try to please humans. This difference often leads to disappointment in the early days. People prepare everything, from food to a comfortable space. But the cat still keeps its distance, observing more than interacting. And from that point, a common belief begins to form. Cats are cold, cats are indifferent, cats aren't worth owning. But if you pay closer attention, you'll notice that cats aren't truly distant. They don't approach in obvious ways, but they tend to show up at the right moments. When things are quiet, when people stop actively seeking attention, cats appear more often. Not loudly, not urgently, just nearby. This presence is easy to overlook because it's subtle and not performative. Yet, that quiet behavior is exactly how cats maintain a steady connection, one that isn't dependent or forced. Over time, these small behaviors become easier to notice. A soft meow when someone comes home, a slightly longer gaze than usual, or the simple choice to sit nearby instead of somewhere else. None of these actions are dramatic enough to stand out immediately, but they happen often enough to create a sense of familiarity. And it's that familiarity that gradually shifts the owner's perspective. Instead of waiting for obvious reactions, people begin to recognize the smaller signals and realize that cats aren't indifferent. They just express themselves in less obvious ways. The longer you spend around cats, the more another truth becomes clear. Cats are not easy to control. They don't respond on command, don't follow instructions, and always act based on their own choices. This can be frustrating for people who are used to being in control, but at the same time, it introduces a different way of understanding relationships. The bond here isn't built on obedience, it's built on acceptance. When a cat chooses to stay, it's not because it needs to, but because it wants to. And that element of choice makes the connection feel more meaningful. So, are cats truly worth owning? The answer doesn't lie in the cat itself, but in how people choose to see it. If you're looking for a pet that shows affection clearly, responds instantly, and is easy to control, a cat may leave you disappointed. But if you're open to a quieter, more independent and subtle form of companionship, then a cat can be a deeply rewarding choice. The key isn't to change the cat, it's to adjust your expectations. Because sometimes the value of a relationship isn't measured by how much it shows, but by how genuinely it exists.